7.4C, formulas, fractions and formulas. Okay, so now we're taking something that we talked about in the last section, which was how to clear the fractions out of an equation, and we're applying it to a situation where we have a lot more variables, and the information still stays the same. We're still going to clear those fractions by multiplying by the least common denominator or the least common multiple. However you want to think about that, they're the same thing. So let's look at an example here. I have solve, it says 5x plus 4a equals b over a. Let me say that again. 5 over x plus 4a equals b over x, and I'm solving for the x. So the x right now is in the denominator. It's not writing very well. 5x plus 4a equals b over x. 5 over x plus 4a equals b over x. So my lowest common denominator in this scenario is going to be x. I'm going to multiply that whole thing by x. So what does that look like? Well, 5 over x times x over 1. Remember, that's what we did to clear the fractions. I can cross cancel those. It's going to just be 5. Now this one, when I times that x by the 4a, it's now going to have an x on it. And then same with this one, that b over x times x over 1. Those guys can cross cancel. It's just going to be b. So now I've cleared my fractions there. And now I can solve. Now I can solve this for the x. I'm going to kind of move that up so I have some more room here. So the x is right here. I'm trying to move everything away from it. So I'm going to first subtract by 5. Minus 5 on both sides. That gets rid of that. So now 4ax equals b minus 5. And then I want that x alone by himself. So I'm going to divide by 4a. And I'll divide by 4a over here. So after all of that, I'm going to write it over here and then I'll move it. X equals b minus 5 divided by 4a. So we got rid of the fractions. Our answer is still a fraction. We've solved it for x. It's still kind of a mess, but that is a-okay. That is the case. I'm just going to get this stuff out of the way so we can look at example 2. Example 2, oh my gosh, looks really, really scary, but you can do this. I promise. You have the information. So this is a formula that says A equals 1/2 HB1 plus 1/2 HB2. These aren't exponents. These are like sub numbers. And they just, I don't know. I think in this case, they're just trying to make it a little bit confusing. But we still have these two fractions, right? And I want to get rid of those. And so my LCD for those, thank heavens, it's 2. And I can say 1/2 times 2 over 1. Those are just going to be 1, but I still, so I'm going to do, I'm going to times this whole thing right there by 2. It still is going to be multiplied on this side of the equal sign by that a. So 2a equals HB1 plus HB2. And now we got rid of those fractions, and I could write the 1 in here, but I'm not going to, because, you know, 1/2 times 2/1, that equals 2/2, which is 1. They just are going to go away. So now the confusing thing becomes that I'm trying to solve for B1, which is this guy. Oh my gosh, so what do? Well, I'm going to treat everything as if it was numbers, right? I'm moving everything away from that B1. So that gets rid of that. I now have 2a minus h B2 equals HB1. And then I'm going to divide by h to get that B1 all by itself. So after all of that, I'm going to write it over here. That B1 equals 2a minus HB2 divided by h. That's the answer for this one. Again, still totally ugly, but I've moved it around. I've manipulated it so that I know what that B1 equals. And I've done that by clearing the fractions because it really does make it easier. One thing I want to say, like we talked about in the last section, you might feel as though, oh, here's an H and an H, I should cancel those out, but there's adding and subtracting involved right there, so I can't do that. So just remember that, even though I've got 2 H's and it feels like I should cancel them, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave them as they are because there's subtraction involved. So hopefully this is going to be helpful for you. This is just sort of one little thing. We might use it a little bit kind of in future sections. Try those 2 practice problems. Let me know how it goes, okay?